Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cowabunga Ranger Talk. This is going to be our first episode. We're testing it out, so pardon the bugs, if you will. This is the maiden voyage. This is the first try. This podcast is going to be about having fun, but it's mostly going to be covering Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles news and topics and things like that. But we're also going to sprinkle in other things. This is going to be really stuff we haven't heard other people talk about as far as the brand goes, because Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles are so, Coke and Pepsi. I mean, why wouldn't you just make a podcast about sodas? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I mean, why do you have to have a Pepsi podcast there? So, you know what? Just go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I figured, I was talking to David about it. I figured as far as the name goes, Cowabunga, because it's the Ninja Turtles, and Ranger because, Power Rangers, and Talk because we talk, And it's also kind of the letters, the CRT, like here are, CR gabbing pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the CRT and I thought of the old fashioned, 80s TVs, the big box 80s TV CRT. And I thought that was a pretty cool idea.
Yeah. Actually, that was also, I was talking to somebody online, just going into the name thing. I think one of the things, like we can get into it on another thing, but just to kind of like a little highlight thing, I think one of the problems that Playmates has had with their adult toy line is, changing the names so many times. And it could have been just so easy. You could have just called it the Cowabunga Collection.
Yeah, they could have. Yeah. I mean,
that's it. You don't have to call it. Yeah. I mean, why do you have to keep changing the name? You've been changing the name like 5-6 times. Like, you called it Classics, and then you stopped for like 3 years. Then you made Rocksteady and Bebop that didn't look anything like they belonged with the others. And then 2 years later, you do a Comic-Con where you show off prototypes of Krang and Shredder. And then you put those away for 12 years, and then you release the movie versions, which is kind of like sharing a lot of the same pieces. You've seen those.
I saw those movie ones, and they don't look good at all. The movie ones from Playmates look like crap. Yeah. They really do. I just saw them the other day at Walmart, and I was just so disappointed. I was like, what is this? Growing up with those movies, Mecha does a whole better job than Playmates does for those,
Yeah, I think they have their lane, and they're very good about, as far as Playmates goes with Turtles. I think they're good at staying with their lane, but they're also kind of like scared of going forward because most of us at least have the 4 Turtles. All right.
Yes.
As far as the classic collection goes, most of us have the 4 Turtles, but then it's been like 17 years until they finally released the Shredder. And this Shredder, the legs don't even move. The legs kind of just slide out this way.
Really?
Yeah, I've had the Shredder, and they released the Shredder like 4 different times too. It's kind of funny because they released them in a 2-pack. It didn't sell, and then they released them again last year in a single. And I was like, what?
Yeah, I've seen the single.
Yeah, I don't understand.
And see, the other day I just found my this is gonna throw you back, neutrino car. The neutrinos. Yeah, I just found that the other day, and it was just like, wow. And it's missing pieces because it's old. It was, but just to see it, it's like, I forgot they made this thing. I'm 40 years old now, looking back at my childhood, going, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's certain things that are like right there. Like going back to the whole to the classics thing for a second. Why didn't they make Splinter? This line has been active since like 2011, 2012, right?
Right. Yeah.
You've done 6 characters. Why? This is like Super 7 level bad, bro.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I haven't even seen.
Not to say anything bad about such and such, but let's face it, that's a pretty long window not to have a Splinter. I mean,
a Splinter, and I haven't even seen an April O'Neil anywhere. No classic April anywhere. I don't understand it,
bro. It's okay. Even more mind-boggling. Playmates made the movie versions. Then they kind of altered their colors, and they gave them multiple heads. and they put them in the Secret of the Ooze packs. You remember this? There
Yes,
were
I
these
do remember
big,
this.
big boxes.
Uh-huh.
They were big black boxes that say Secret of the Ooze, and then it had 3 different heads. And fine, here's the mind-boggling part. Why didn't you do a foot soldier? It's the army builder. It's
Yeah,
such a
exactly.
simple thing. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, bro. Like, you only need one Splinter, or you only need one Leonardo, or maybe two if you have 2 different heads because you want to swap. But really, you need at least 3, 4 foot soldiers. So you got multiple sales right there. It's
And
you know what I mean? It's like
and
so.
again, you got the video game that had all sorts of different color foot soldiers they could go by. And yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
yeah, it is crazy. It really is because you got all these other companies doing exactly that. And the main company, Playmates, is just doing nothing really. And it's
yeah.
their brand. It's kind of like if Hasbro said, okay, we have the branding of Power Rangers. We're going to take the first 6 Power Rangers, 7 Power Rangers, let's add the White Ranger to it. And that's what we're going to make. But all these other companies can make Goldar or, you know, Scorpina or something, and then, but we're not going to make any of those. We're just going to make this basic line. It makes no sense. It really doesn't.
You know the funny thing is, and this I guess this can be one of the news topics, but last week, Super 7 actually dropped and released like on the same day, which is Rita Repulsa. I don't know if you saw it, the Ultimates version in purple.
Yes, the villain bolt. Yes, I
Yes,
have.
and this is actually where we met because I made a post about it and you
Yes,
commented,
you
and now
did.
now now we're making a podcast about it. So, it's like I wanted that Rita like back for the original '93 line because you made a couple of monsters, you made the Megazord, but why didn't you make a Rita? It's like right there. It's the main villain, dude. Like if
And
you make the
yeah,
turtles, you have to make Shredder. It's like come on.
it's
I
the
don't
same
know.
thing. And see, I actually prefer Super 7 over Hasbro's products. And there's only basically one reason behind it is
Yeah,
you get basically if you look at the TV show, you get those accessories that they use. Even some of the stupider ones, like the gun they used, or the Green Ranger used the gun for that one episode. You have it. Rita Repulsa comes with the telescope and the green candle and all these cool accessories, even a Kimberly head. And Hasbro gives you basics. And it's like, well, that's cool. But if you're going to display something like a Rita Repulsa, that telescope is part of the TV show. It's part of her. You want the telescope, you want the wand, you want, I really don't care about the head sculpt really too much. There's changeable head sculpt on Rita, but Hasbro's head sculpts are 100% better than Super 7's. I will give you that much. If you agree with me or not, Hasbro has better head
well, it's
sculpts.
kind of to kind of jump in there. It's kind of hard to argue because Hasbro is a much bigger company. They have face recognition. They could just
Yes.
scan it. And I mean, I'm a cartoonist, and an animator, so I kind of get what they're doing, what Hasbro can do. Because Hasbro right now, and a lot of like independent toy makers are out there doing this too, which is very simple. You can get 3 shots and composite mesh the head of somebody. Like if you have the side view, the other side, and you have the front
Mhm.
view, you could kind of figure out what the back is. So 4 corners, you make a mesh, and you kind of figure it out there. It's
Yeah.
not that hard for what they're doing. And man, sometimes they knock it out of the park so well. Like you see some of their stuff, like oh my god, that looks just like that actor. And sometimes they crash and burn pretty hard too. Like
Oh, they do. They do. And, as a business point of view, I think, Hasbro probably doesn't want a company to make 100% perfect action figure head sculpt because if they did that, Hasbro would have a high end competition because anybody can build a Power Ranger body, you know.
yeah,
But to get the actual actor's head to look 100% right, if someone did that, they would have competition that they don't want. So I think there might be a licensing thing there. Maybe I could be wrong. You're more into the business side of this stuff.
yeah.
So I would think that in my personal opinion, but as a business side, do you think that would be a actual possibility that maybe because I don't see Super 7 not having that same technology as Hasbro.
Okay, so from what I understand, because I've worked some conventions with some of the Rangers and I've talked to some of the actors and stuff. So the way I see it, when you sign on to do Power Rangers, right? You sign a release, but the release is for your image and your likeness
Okay.
without residuals. So like this is word of mouth. I don't have, but this is word on the street, if you will. Okay, so when you sign over that, they could basically make 100 Jason heads, and they don't have to keep paying the actor, Jason David Frank or whoever the actor is. Uh, it might also depend on when they sign the contract, because remember, we're now living in Hasbro times, if you will. So
Oh
things are
yes.
really different than they were before. Because I've been with Mascara Fighters, as I've been talking with my brand, and I've been talking to other people, and things were different when they were under Saban the first time, and then things changed rapidly when they went into Disney. Disney did not care about making human heads. Oh, we need a Tommy head. They don't care.
No, they didn't
They,
care.
they really didn't even want it. I mean, a big applause goes to Bandai, because Bandai really is the one that was the driving force for those 7-8 years that Disney had it, because Bandai was like, we're getting these toys out. Don't worry about that. But we don't have any money to make RPM. Don't worry about that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
Don't you worry. Them toys are gonna hit. You're gonna see those hits, those toys at Toys R Us, November 1st. I guarantee you, the day after Halloween, bam, you have the big display. It doesn't happen anymore because of
Yeah.
Toys R Us
Well,
gone.
speaking of the Disney years, I
They
actually
were so
have.
good at that. This Hasbro, I mean, the Bandai was
Yeah.
really good about product to shelf.
Yeah. So speaking of the Disney years, I actually have the Disney year Dragon Dagger that people call the lightsaber. You hit the button, the little lightsaber thing came out of it. I actually have that, and it's a unique because it's when you play the songs on it, it's not the correct songs. It's like this remix, so it's so different. And
That
I
might
had to
be
get
licensed.
uh well, it actually says made Disney, and then it has Bandai, and it's actually made in Thailand. I found out by looking at the thing, but it's a legit one, and it's very interesting because it's nothing like the old '90s one, or even I love the Hasbro one. I actually have that. The Hasbro one is amazing,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Do you own any of the Dragon Daggers by chance?
I've played with them, and I've seen them, and the simple explanation for that is clean audio
Clean audio, yeah.
technology. Remember, this show was made in Power Rangers came out in '93, so the
Yes.
is not the way it sounds today. So
No.
there wasn't Garage Band back then. You know what I mean?
No,
Come
exactly. I mean, like
You
I
can't
had
clean
the
that audio up. So
no.
you have that. You also have remember this stuff. This is sort of an interpretation of Super Sentai. So the original that audio file itself could be technically, still property of Tokusatsu or whoever holds the license to the Super Sentai specific of the show, or the
That's very
broadcasting
true.
rights too. Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be a broadcasting thing, because yes, they can play the on TV all they want, but then that doesn't mean that they can actually put it into manufacturing as a product in a physical form for you to hold it. Legally, it's not gonna translate, And sometimes they do funky stuff like that. I don't know if you've seen the last couple of years of Power Rangers, but they've been sprinkling in a lot of like throwback clips with redubbed audio.
Oh, really? No, I haven't. I
Yes.
kind of fell off the Power Ranger timeline a little bit because of
Yeah.
work and family. Family is always a big thing. Um, but overall, it doesn't surprise me because they've been doing that for a long time. Even when JDF came on to do his last morph, turning into the White Ranger, calling the Falcon Zord, and all that. Uh, it's all a throwback. All the
Yeah.
even the Hasbro's 30th anniversary video. was a
Yeah,
throwback, and that's what it is. Cosmic Fury, that's going to be the subject we're going to be talking about here in a minute. Without that 30th anniversary show on Netflix, Cosmic Fury would have a big gap on what's going on, in my opinion. But we'll get into that later.
yeah. To kind of like put a pin in, to kind of end on the audio thing that I was talking about in recent Power Rangers, specifically, there was a sort of a reunion episode, but for bad guys on Power Rangers on the Beast Morphers, right?
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So they brought back some of the characters, and that's where they brought back Goldar Maximus, but they used clips, yeah, which is we can get into that later, but to kind of end the point, uh, they used a lot of like different original clips, from throwbacks. Like, oh, you remember Astronomer, you remember Lord Zed, you remember all of this, but they had to redub a lot of these because the audio wasn't clean enough, and legally I don't know, they probably didn't have the rights to the original voice actors, which is hard sometimes too. Shout out to the guy, I forget, I'm blanking on his name. If you could pull up his name, the guy that was doing the voice of Lord Zed recently.
Oh, yeah,
At
he
last
passed
the show.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not Robert Axelrod. He was
No,
a great
not.
guy. I met him. He was really cool. He did a little video for my brand and everything. So, rest in peace to him. No, but there was a guy that replaced him, and he got so much flack for it, for doing the I am Lord Zed. And like, come on, bro. You're not Robert Axelrod, so you can't compare yourself to I get the
Yeah.
comparison, but sometimes you get lucky. Where we got really, really lucky? Ninja Turtles. The father, Uncle Phil, I forget his name.
Uncle Phil.
He did the voice of Shredder.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name. What is his name?
I don't know his name. I know Uncle
Yeah,
Phil
okay.
from
Well,
Fresh
Uncle Phil from
Prince,
Fresh
but
Prince. You know who I'm
yeah,
talking about.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yes.
he passed away, and then they did the Ninja Turtles, the CGI show, and they had a sort of a reunion episode, TV movie type thing, but they had Kevin Richardson, I think is his name, the guy that's done a million voices, the big dude, and I think he does the voice of the Shredder in the 2012 show, and he did the voice of the original, the 87 Shredder, and it sounds so close, it's like ridiculous. But that guy is such a master linguistics, if you will, in audio. So
Yeah.
that's just really lucky, that because he's got such a fine ear, and that's a beautiful thing where you can get lucky where like you can sound so close. It's like you're almost there. You're almost there. So shout out to them. Yeah.
But see, on that note too, when they have to replace a voice actor,
Yeah.
me personally never go, oh, well, it's not right. Well, because it's never going to be right. It's like replacing a singer in a band. You're going to replace a singer. They're going to sound close. They're going to hit the pitches, but they're not going to sound what people are used to.
Yeah.
They can sound close, and with technology today, if they really wanted to, they can technology his voice to 100%. But no one wants that. Everybody wants their own voice to be heard the way they hear it. I mean, it goes back to the 30th anniversary again. You listen to the Tommy Oliver, hiya, hiya stuff.
Yeah.
And then when he's the Green Ranger, but there's no JDF in that costume. It's just voice clips from the old show. And it doesn't even sound right there either, But, the voices, the sound quality and all that, we can talk about that forever. I'm an audio person. I play guitar for over 20 years. I understand all about how recording audio and stuff works. I even took audio engineering in college. So yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, that's why. Like, I was impressed of how close this guy Kevin got to voicing Uncle Phil, like Uncle Phil Shredder. Oh, crying! That he got really close. I'd have to practice it to try to, like the only impression I could probably do would be like Starscream from Transformers, Megatron, the silly things like that.
Right? Yeah. That's awesome. That was good. I like that. That was good. Yeah.
Megatron, we have to take over the Megaverse or something.
Right? Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
So anyways,
you got the news.
Yeah, Hasbro PulseCon's coming up on the 22nd, and according to like all these other YouTubers, like the nerd, can't remember his exact name. All he does is Power Ranger news. Um,
Andre,
but like,
the
yeah,
Black Nerd comedy guy. Yeah,
I believe so. I believe that's who it is. But so the Master Morpher comes out in Singapore. We all know that. So, but everybody's saying that the Master Morpher is
it's
going to be
made there.
announced. It's made. I mean, yeah, exactly. People are like
Duh.
people are trying to get. We're trying to get it. We want it now. We want it now, now, now. But it's supposed to be released at PulseCon. Being announced. But the rumor is, and the thing that really irritates a lot of people, even me, is that it's going to be a PulseCon exclusive. I don't know how much you've actually heard about that.
Well, yeah, I've seen it, and it it's a nice farewell. I'll say that. I think it's
Yeah.
a very nice farewell. I've heard some people criticizing that. Oh, every audio in the Morpher isn't in the show because he recorded new tracks, bro. He literally said this. Like, if you listen to what he said, because he said, "Hey, Hasbro called me with an idea to make a White Ranger Morpher," and I told him, "No, people want the Master Morpher." And that's what he went into. And they were like, "Okay, we'll make the Master Morpher." And that's where he went into the studio and he recorded, multiple lines. And not everything is going to be, in show. Remember, the show's 22 minutes, and it's not.
Yeah.
It is the Tommy Oliver show, but it's not the Tommy Oliver show at the same time. So
Yeah, exactly.
it's one of those things. But I think it does look beautiful and it looks fun. It's also a really, really, really smart idea if they capitalize it moving forward. Because now that we have that, tentatively coming out in the next month and a half or so, right? Here, stateside. Then you could start moving into Ranger packs, like coin packs. Like you
There you
have to,
go.
you could start doing the Zeo pack. Okay, give me all 6 Zeo coins. I don't really collect, the Master Morphers and things like that, but I see the potential in it. Obviously, you have to be blind to not see the potential money there, and the potential fun as well, because yeah, yeah, it's going to cost us a bit, but you want to morph into the Gold Ranger. Come on. Well,
Oh yeah, of
who wouldn't
course.
want to, with the Gold Ranger,
Yeah,
thing
the
there?
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, but
I I
it's
actually
the
still have
coolness of
mine.
it. Yeah, yeah. I
I
mean,
just
it's such a world builder, if you will, because the Master Morpher concept is you can moving past just the Tommy, into the Master Morpher itself. It's a cool idea because you can morph into any Ranger you have
That's
or you
right.
want, as long as you have the coin, quote unquote, for role
Yeah.
play people. So you're gonna sell it. You're not always gonna be able to get a chance to also reproduce other morphers as much as a lot of morpher collectors, because I have a lot of friends that are morpher collectors do. Like, oh, they made the SPD, but then they made the other one not a plastic and it looks like Nerf or whatever. But this is really easy. You make one mold and you just keep changing out the faceplates.
That's
You
exactly
make
what
the
I'm doing.
Zeos,
Yeah.
you make the RPMs, you make the turbos, and you release them like packs.
Yeah.
If you don't like turbo, then you don't buy the turbo pack. If you like in space, you buy the in space pack. You could come up with 6 coins for all of the Rangers.
And like the Master Morpher itself has been customized. People have taken their old Hasbro morphers and just painting them or buying it from what is that store called? It's off of eBay. Starlight Studios. Starlight Studios sells the plates for these morphers, and you can just literally buy the metal gold plates and unscrew the plates, put them on, and
There
you
it
got a
is.
Master Morpher.
That's it.
I took my 1993 morpher and took it all apart. I actually have a video on my channel that this one's going up on, and it's how to basically tear the whole morpher apart, how to paint it gold, and make it look like the original 1993 morpher that Tommy used in the show to turn into the Green Ranger.
Mhm.
And the reason I did it was because I bought a Mark Richardson Dragon Dagger from Mark Richardson himself. So I wanted a complete set, and I didn't want to spend the extra money to buy one from Mark because it's well worth it because you get the coin, the actual coin that he used on the show as well. But I could spend a few $100s on a morpher, or I can just take my old one apart, buy a BD15 sticker kit, and build it myself. And people have been doing this with the Master Morphers I did for years. So when Hasbro releases this, I feel that it's a great release, but I don't think everybody's gonna buy it because a lot of people already have it theoretically. People have already customized their own morpher. Like
Yeah,
a lot of people buy the Pink Ranger morpher, like 2 of them, and one will be a Green Ranger morpher, one will be a Master morpher, and
yeah.
yeah,
I've seen that. Now that you mention it, this is something you probably know that I don't. As far as the morpher goes, they've been releasing them, but they release them sort of in the case of the movie style, right? So it's like, oh,
right,
it's the Pink Ranger, but it's movie version, or you could just take off the big surrounding plate and it's the TV show version again, right?
yeah, pretty
That's
much. I
basically the
mean,
concept of it. Yeah,
yeah, the concept is that they're reproducing the movie ones that were released for a short period of time that are, again, you try to go look for a movie morpher from Bandai and they're expensive, just like the
yeah,
legacy morphers are expensive. So they're reproducing them, but of course they don't got the rights to the movie itself yet. That's a weird, complicated thing too. But so they're releasing a morpher that's not a movie morpher, but if you look at it, it's exactly what that is. It's the movie morpher,
yeah,
and people get in arguments. I've seen it online on even the Lightning Collection group that we're from. I've seen people get online. Oh, it's not from the movie. It doesn't say the movie. Well, in reality, it doesn't have to say the movie. You look at it, you go, "Oh, that's the movie morpher," in plastic or whatever.
yeah. Because I
Yeah,
think people are connected also to the logo. They want to see the Power Ranger logo in white with the movie on the bottom. You're
yeah,
connected to it. You're connected to it. It doesn't mean that it's not non-existent. Like uh, I don't know. Like 4 months ago, they released the. I don't know if you saw the Lightning Collection. They did the Tanga 2-pack, which is
yes,
supposed to be like the movie version of these things, but it comes off kind of like half glitter washy on them. I've seen the things. I mean, they're fine, but they're technically not the movie ones either because the movie ones were a lot darker and they had sort of like a blobbish hue to them. So I mean,
yeah,
if you have the sculpt, you already made it.
yeah. I mean, again, though, they're
Just a different paint job, really.
and I don't remember what it was on a Hasbro live stream that they brought those out, and they said they were based on the movie. I remember that, but in reality, they look more like the TV show, the 1 or 2 episodes they were in the TV show. That's exactly,
Yeah, they look like the TV show when they fight in the daytime.
yeah,
When the light hits it, that's exactly what it is.
yeah,
When they have night shots, it's the regular ones we have. When they have the day shots, that's when they bring out the shark cycles or whatever to fill out time and sell us something.
exactly, and that's pretty much it. Like I'm excited for the reboot. I really want to see what they do with the reboot stuff too, because uh, the last thing I heard was yesterday that the guy that's making the reboot is Tommy Oliver is supposed to be like the main focus of this reboot, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know how that's gonna work. Even I'm a big fan of JDF, even Tommy Oliver, if you want to consider just that. I want more than just Tommy. I want to see what they do with the other characters. I want to see what they do with the bad guys. I want to see if they bring in, Gordor or Scorpina in a different light. Like
Yeah.
one of the things I hated about being the 90s Scorpina was when she grew into that weird looking monster. Wouldn't it be cool if she grew into the human and just be big like Gordor did? Stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know how much of a reboot they can really do without losing some of the fans.
Well, I mean, we can get into the reboot, and talk here for hours, but just to kind of glance on my thoughts on the reboot is I'm honestly tired of hearing about it. We've been hearing about the reboot for literally since they bought the damn company. They spent
Yeah.
$526 million to buy the toy license, which is super important. They bought the toy license and the TV show license, and then they shut down one of their TV studios. So I don't know. I'm not Hasbro. It'd be
Yeah.
nice if they hired me.
Hey, they hire you. I want into on some of the info before
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
else.
yeah. I'll shoot you some pictures of the new toys we're making or something.
There you
But
go.
yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm tired of hearing about this reboot's coming, the reboot's coming, the reboot's coming. I live in Florida, and it's kind of like hurricane warnings. Like we hear hurricane warnings enough. Like, yeah, we've had enough of the reboot, bro. Yeah, let's live in the now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
definitely.
Let's worry about Beast Morphers first. Let's worry about the Dino Fury or Cosmic Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that I'm honestly, if we get into it, as far as and that could be a fun for another episode going into what would be the reboot or whatever. But honestly, I'm tired of hearing about it. It's sort of the boy that cried wolf. It's coming. It's coming. I swear to God, it's coming. Oh no, I
Right.
put it on my mama that the reboot's coming. Oh no, we got this producer. We got that producer. Oh no, they fired that producer. Then they sold the studio again, and now they lost the license to make the 2017 movie part 2. It's like, all right, that's enough. The nail in the coffin for me was when they cut ties with New Zealand. I was like, all right, yeah, that's enough.
Yeah.
you literally cut on your tax breaks. That's enough, bro.
Yeah, the New Zealand thing though. I mean, that was, if I remember right, that's why the actor that played Jason couldn't do the 30th anniversary, was because he's not allowed to leave the United States. I'm still to this day not sure what he did to get him stuck himself in the United States.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna speculate because that's a legal matter. But exactly. I will say this, innocent until proven guilty. You know what I mean? There's people out there that want the Wild Force Red Ranger, and we all know what happened there. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, in that segue, let's go into like some toy pickups. You have any toy pickups you wanted to show or talk about a little bit?
So yeah, actually, I did pick up the Mutant Mayhem double packs. They're called battle packs, and I'm just gonna show these two characters off because they're the main characters of the movie, basically. Superfly here, and I love this sculpt, and I have a video on this channel basically showing, all the articulation and stuff like that. And this was one of the biggest things here. When I got him out of the pack, this ring was not attached, and it's easy to put in, but this guy doesn't stand up either. But if you look at the character, I'm sure as a toy maker, you can probably understand why this guy does not stand very well.
Because he's top heavy.
He is very top heavy.
He's got the same problem that the Super 7, Rocksteady, and Bebop have. They're massively top heavy. They're beautiful, but they're top heavy as hell.
Oh yeah, the detail work on this guy is awesome. I love it. And the reason I picked up the battle pack ones is just because of that. When I saw, Ninja Turtles as a kid, they fight, they get hurt, but you never get to see any of this stuff. The battle damage. And I thought that was awesome to see that. And same thing with this Leonardo. I mean, he's all beat up. And I was like, because I did go to see this movie, and again, the beginning of the movie, the middle of the movie, awesome. The ending sucked for me. It really did. I'm not going to spoil it because I don't know if everybody's seen it.
Yeah, some people are waiting for the streaming because see it at home.
But yeah, all these turtles have some kind of problem as well, and it's just overproduced real fast. Get them out there, get it. People buying them. But like I said, originally when I saw the movie, I was like, I'm not buying none of these toys. And then I saw these at Walmart. I was like, battle damage. I've never seen any battle damage characters like this. Exactly. It's like, and again, like one of the things I say on most of my videos is, when you go buy a collectible toy that's like $55 or even, $35, like a Hasbro toy, you don't want your kids playing with them. You don't, because you don't want them broken. My kids come to my house, they can play with these all they want. I don't care. They were $10 theoretically each, but it was a double pack, so it was $20. So, but they're still, these are kids' toys. I'm serious. These are not collectible. These are kids' toys. But again, I got it for one reason.
I actually have them, and I think they knocked it out of the park as far as like sculpt and stuff. Like they're pretty close to what's on screen, which is
that I agree with. Yes,
you know what I mean. There's that's what the figures are. I mean,
yeah.
A lot of people complain about the Rocksteady about how but that's what he looks like on screen. So what are you gonna complain about? If you don't like the screen look, then don't buy it. But it's not like they didn't do what they did, And I think they have the advantage of modern technology that they could just send them the files. Like if you have a Leonardo from the screen that you use as a render, you could use him and slice him into pieces. And okay, now the Leonardo head from the screen is the Leonardo head on the actual figure because you literally use the 1-for-1. Let me show you something. This is one of my action figures, right? This is a
Oh, that's
Master Duel.
cool.
And this isn't to plug myself. This is just for the example.
Okay.
This, I use this figure right here. Let's see, there. I use this figure and to make the toy, but I also use him in animated shorts. So this is literally 1-for-1. So
Oh,
we
wow.
can literally do that these days because it isn't like the loss of technology or the loss in translation, if you will, of old school for us for like Ninja Turtles, where like Donatello's brown, but in real life he's green or he's dark green or olive green or off. You know what I mean? We don't have any of those lost in translation issues. We have literally 1-for-1. So I think that they nailed it.
Oh yeah, they definitely nailed it. I mean, I give them that. I mean, I've heard complaints about how they're missing shattering, like little black lines and stuff. But you know what? For me,
Bro,
I
for
could,
$10, shut up.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly. Like I saw someone do a review of the collectible version from Walmart, and the guy was mad because the back of this shell is just this. There's no coloring. It was just coloring on the front and the little coloring around where the shell's supposed to be right here.
I think they
And I was
did a
like,
good job.
oh, they did an excellent job.
I
But
think they did a perfect job as far as budget as well too, because I'm not trying to get myself over or nothing. This is just for example. Making a toy costs money, so I
oh
think that
yes,
they distribute it money wise perfectly. Like you paint samples for the hair, then you have the body itself, then you have the hands, then you have the little yellow line. Every figure is different, but my point is, this is paint app, paint app, paint app, paint app, paint app, and I do these by hand, and I have done these by hand. But the point is, those things run. So as far as budgetary, that I think that they did really well. I mean, I'm guessing their budget has to be, fairly tight, but it also goes into their run. They're not gonna make, I don't know, 30 of these. You're making at least, I have to say, like 30,000, because you have to distribute this thing worldwide. You're
oh
not just
yeah,
gonna make the turtles for Korea, or you're not gonna make just the turtles for China or the States or in Canada. You know what I mean? These
oh
turtles are gonna
yes.
go everywhere. The movie's gonna go everywhere. So you have to put them in all of the Walmarts. You have to hit them in all the stores. So I think
And
they
again, for $10, I mean $10, you get all the old fashioned accessories, you
yeah.
get the little rack and everything. Not this guy because this was a double pack,
But
but
yeah, they packed the
the
hell out of that box.
yeah, yeah. I
Not just
mean,
saying that.
for $10, you can't find. I can't even find a Minecraft toy that's an actual Minecraft toy for $10 or anything. So seeing these at Walmart for $10, I was like, that brought me back to being a kid again. It's like it's amazing. I mean, I don't know any other franchise that does a $10 toy.
Yeah, Super 7 charges you like 55, and the re-releases don't even have the weapons tree anymore. I don't know if you've seen it. I was looking at their glow in the dark figures, the
Oh
Super
yeah,
7 glow
yeah.
in the dark, and they don't have they take away weapons for the variants, just like with Rita. They took away the telescope for the
Hmm.
Rita. It's like,
And the Kimberly
but you
head.
already made it. What are you
Yeah,
doing? It's like,
right. It's
this is
I
a color swap, bruh.
right. It's
Like,
just a color swap, exactly.
what are
I
you
mean,
doing?
I
So,
can understand taking away the Kimberly head. That's okay. I can understand that part. But the telescope, again,
yeah, you
something
could
that
go
you
somewhere
need.
else.
But again, I should have those in about a week. I actually have them on processing on Entertainment Earth, honestly.
Yeah.
And the Kimberly Super 7 is already coming. It's already been shipped, but the other ones should be here in about a week or two. So next time we talk, I should be able to show you the actual Rita Repulsa, not the variant, but the original one.
Okay.
Because the original one, what I've seen in the box, looks amazing. And that's the other thing. Super 7, I don't know what it is, but the monsters look amazing. And I saw a guy on YouTube go, I buy the Super 7 monsters for the Hasbro's Power Rangers. And it
Yeah.
makes sense because the monsters are 8 inches. The Super 7 ones are 8 inches. So you
Yeah.
actually have an actual look, like a TV show look at that point in a display. And I think it's awesome. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Now, since we're talking Power Rangers and Super 7, I think it would be awesome. And if anybody could do this, it would be them. And it's really in their wheelhouse to I guess it would be a technical, pain in the ass or something, but to get the license to start remaking the vinyl ones, because you remember the old '93 bad guys were kind of hollow vinyl. They're not very strong. But why don't you just keep making more bad guys? Why don't you actually make the Rita that we never got in '93? Your whole company is based on nostalgia and throwbacks. So why wouldn't you make the Rita we never got to fight? You know, the original Megazord you see behind me there somewhere. You know, like, why not make make the, like you're saying, like Scorpina, make Rito Revolto in the 8-inch vinyl. I mean, it's not like it's not gonna sell. It's not like it's not gonna sell. I think your fans will always
with the lights on the head. You know.
Yeah. I think your fan base will find you. One of the things I applaud them, the Super 7 is, and I wasn't following this line, okay, but this is just something that they did, and oh man, applause to them. They did Masters of the Universe, but they did the toy versions.
Oh, they do the toy versions. Okay.
Yeah, they did toy versions, but in the original 5-inch scale.
Oh, so really?
Yeah, these figures. My brother's a big He-Man guy, so he knows more about it than me. But when they made those, and my brother has them in his room, and I'm like, damn, they knocked the hell out of the park with that, because it's exactly what was missing in the line. I don't know if they would ever get another chance to get cracking on it again, because it's the Motu license. But you know, that being said, I think that they did one of the best freaking things, you know. And we can talk about, you know, Super 7 and things like that forever, but as far as, you know, filling in a void, I think they should pick up the license to make more monsters. Why not make more monsters? Your Power Ranger fan is always going to buy a Power Ranger, but the monster, if your company is more, they love to say this, they're more boutique, then boutique that shit up. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Wow. Make Rito, make Master Vile, make another. Do what we want. What's missing in our collections, because we're already gonna buy your collections. I know a lot of people, like you're saying, they're gonna buy the Super 7 monsters, but they're not buying those. Oof, that stomach crunch. I'm sorry. Ooh, buddy, that's a big no. That's a no.
So let me explain, because I own the Super 7 collection and I have them all on pre-order. The reason I bought them was because the idea behind them, when I first saw the interviews at Comic-Con, I think it was, or maybe it was the Power Ranger Con, they were talking about what they were making. They wasn't making MMRP. They are not making MMRP figures. They were making the Super Sentai Japanese toys, the ones that they were getting, the big tall ones. That's what these are based off of. They're not based off of Power Rangers, but they don't have the license rights to use.
So they don't have Super Sentai.
Yeah, they don't have Super Sentai, right? They don't have rights for Burai's Head or
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah. So basically, anybody that's buying the Super 7 characters are actually buying Super Sentai characters in the long run. That's what they're basing their characters. They're all their, you know, enemies and the stuff. So for me, I'm a big Super Sentai fan. I grew up on Power Rangers, but I'm a big Super Sentai fan. And that's the thing.
I've seen some Super Sentai.
Yeah.
I think they could be fun. Sometimes they're really fun, like the Mystic Force one. Not to go off on a thing, but
go ahead.
I'm talking the Sentais. I think the Mystic Force one was really fun. Their version, I don't Magi Ranger, I think it's called.
Yeah,
and I think also one of the, I don't know any Japanese, but I had to like read out the show, and then I had to watch it again just to like eyeball candy.
Oh, definitely, yes.
This other show that they did, the one that's Super Mega Force, but the Sentai version of Super Mega Force, with all of the Rangers and the keys and all of this stuff, and I forget what the name is, Q Ranger or one of those Rangers, but it's the Super Mega Force version. That one, I think that they did a really good job. They took their time as far as Sentais go. You know, I mean, sometimes I think some Sentais fall flat. Like I hated. Oh my god, I hated the freaking Beast Morphers, the Sentai version. I thought it was.
I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah, I have the DVD, and I thought, man, this thing is boring. And they have the guy with the suspect mustache there, and oh my god, bro. And then I don't know. It's like, man, I spent $30 to get this imported here, and and it's crazy because the box had the DVD box had a little like hologram authenticity, and then I showed it to my friend, and he was like, "Oh, that's a bootleg," but it's got the authenticity. It's like, what are you doing? But it's got the authenticity, bro. That's not the way it's supposed to be. If it's a bootleg, it's a bootleg. What are you gonna do? But you know.
Well, since we're talking about Sentai, what did you think? You know, say you're a kid in the '90s watching Power Rangers, and you see Tommy become the White Ranger, and then when you grew up, you found out that the White Ranger didn't belong to MMRP at all. What do you think of that? Because you know now that the White Ranger wasn't morphing.
Yeah, it was a little kid over there. And it was a little perverty kid too. He was.
Yes, he was.
If you watch that show, that kid's suspect, bro. You might want to.
But again, it makes sense where Saban got the idea for Turbo at the same point, though. They took, you know, the White Ranger from Sentai.
Good editing, bro.
To Turbo's, you know, what was his name? The little kid in Turbo. I can't even. Justin, I think it was.
Justin, yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I believe Saban got his idea was, let's take the White Ranger kid and turn him into a Turbo kid, you know, because we're gonna have Turbo.
Yeah, well, I think it was different circumstances as well, because they were on top of the moon with Tommy. Period.
Oh yes. Okay?
So then they had to Fox and Saban, because they were like co-partners, because they were releasing like 4 episodes a week. They were maniacs. They commissioned them to do more Zoo Ranger, I believe it's called, the Sentai version of like Zoo 2.0. They had to redo more fight scenes and more things. They're like, oh no, don't break down the set. We need to do more fights, because we ran out of Tommy footage and we ran out of Jason footage. Yeah, let's go. This goes, applause to the editors of Power Rangers as well, because man, you have such little footage and you have to fill it out, and you have to, you know what I mean? You got to do something with these 22 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's a sort of cohesive story.
So how about we get into the Cosmic Fury and what we're expecting in this? Because, you know, according to what I've read, this is supposed to be the very last season of Power Rangers for the United States, of the running season forever. There you go, Cosmic Fury. Yes.
Yeah.
Is that a toy, or what was that? I haven't seen that box anywhere.
Let's see if we can see it there better. Yeah.
It's the Megazord.
This is the Megazord.
Megazord, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so this Megazord is actually pretty cool. I like it. It's got its faults, if you will, because like anything else, it's got its faults. Also, I think this goes into Hasbro not having a grasp on Megazords in general. Okay, so this is just in general. Like in the 5.5 years or so that we've had Hasbro doing Megazords, no, they don't finish a line number 1, which is a huge problem, because if you bought a legacy line, you should try to work to your legacy fans.
Yes,
this isn't a brand new IP that they're, this isn't out of nothing. Like if they hire me and they sign my Mascara Fighters or something, to the world it would be a brand new IP. But I mean, it is that Power Rangers. Power Rangers is massive. Power Rangers has an adult fan base, and these, like everybody says these days, kids aren't buying toys, adults are buying toys. You're making toys for 20 and 30-year-olds that want to finish their collections. It's like, why would you make such bad figures that are incomplete as far as lines? Like, okay, Beast Morphers, they didn't do the Beast X Megazord, which is a big gap in people's collections. Number 2, with that, a lot of their Megazords specifically for Beast Morphers would snap, break, pop, or the joints wouldn't stay on, or they looked awkward as hell. It doesn't look like a good Megazord. I'm sorry. I've seen other people review the Beast X or the Beast King, whatever, the red Megazord of Beast Morphers and the other Zords. They didn't sell. They didn't do a good job with marketing. This, I think, is actually pretty good for what it is. Is it $72 good? No. But then again, I didn't price it at that. Maybe if the line was stronger, you could have a a stronger price, and people would shut up and pay. Kind of like you've heard of the Star Wars tax. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Power Rangers does not have a Star Wars tax.
No.
You can't do that, bro. I
No.
mean, there's certain things you could kind of Star Wars taxi on. Like, perfect example, Super 7.
Yes.
They had the wave of Ninja Turtles, the Ultimates.
Oh yeah, I've
They
seen
had
that.
Krang in one of them. That's a day one for me. It's one of the core characters of the show. You have to have a Krang. So
Yeah.
I'm okay. Fine. Here's the $55, and leave me alone. But I can wait for Amazon to give me a clearance on toilet plunger Raph or something.
Right. Right. And
Sewer spitting Leo, or these deeper cuts. So yeah, there's Beast Morphers, and then Dino Fury. I think they did all right with their Megazords, better than
yeah,
better than they've done with other stuff. Uh, as far as like breakability and stuff, I think this is actually solid because going into a little more about the Megazords, I think they've done a real rough job with their collector lines for Megazords. The Zap.
I was gonna ask you about that because I don't own the Zap. I've heard so many bad things about them. They look amazing. But I've heard so many bad things about the Zap.
Epic
They're
fail.
kind of
Epic fail on all three of the releases. Epic fail.
really.
And it's an epic fail because this is for your adult. There's no excuse for that. Look, this thing right here, you could kind of make an excuse. It's for kids. It's for this. It's for that. Oh, it's only
Yeah.
whatever. Fine. It's whatever. You can make all the excuses for this. There's no excuse
Yeah.
for the Zap. It's a $200 Megazord that's supposed to be aimed at 25-year-olds.
Exactly.
Be real. Let's you know what I mean? Like I said, let's be real. No 25-year-old that has the space for these things, because really, who's gonna start over a Megazord collection in these days? But let me throw out all the ones I got right now.
I've never owned the Megazord. I've never owned the Dragon Zord. I do have the White Tiger Zord and I have the Falcon Zord.
Yeah.
But I never owned them because when I was a kid, my parents couldn't afford them.
Yeah.
So like I want them in my collection, but I don't want one I'm gonna put together and it's gonna have issues. It might not stay together. Like I heard the pterodactyl chest plate likes to pop off. Like you try to move the Megazord and it pops. It's like, why do I want that?
Yeah, the little clips are bad.
Yeah.
Bad. Speaking of that, I forgot to talk about this real quick. I'll just show it fast. See if you can see it there. This is my toy pickup Hero from the Masters of the Universe.
Oh wow, there you go.
Yeah, this figure's fun as hell. They've nailed it with this one. The articulation, the way he looks, everything. They did a really good job with this guy. And the other little thing I was going to show that I kind of talked to you about, since we're jumping a little bit, was this. I have
April.
A giant April.
You were telling me about that, yeah, with the phone, yeah.
Yeah, I saw it and I was like, this is like such a win. You know what I mean? Like, it's so obvious. Who wouldn't want to have their April or their Shredder? I have a Shredder as well. I wish wasn't as loose as she is, but
Hey, she's been around the block a few times.
Yeah. But getting back to the topic of the show, for expectations as far as Mega's Cosmic Fairy, I think we like the Larry David thing. We gotta curb our enthusiasm. We gotta really, really pull it back, because remember, we got 10 episodes. They're 22 minutes. Come on, let's tighten up, because if you're expecting the reveal of the Phantom Ranger and this Ranger and that Ranger, and every villain that's ever been made is gonna come back and fight, and the one thing I do see as potentially really good, but it's also kind of a catch-22, is if they bring back Zordon.
I was just going to mention that because, Lord Zed in this is supposed to have taken
over. It has its positives and its negatives.
Yeah, it has taken over Eltar. Lord Zed has bases on Eltar in this thing. And, of course, everybody's going to be like, oh, Zordon is going to be there. Well, yes and no, because if you think about it, when they destroyed the tube, that was Zordon's life energy that goes out. when they destroyed the tube in, I think it was space. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, his energy goes out. But again, we also saw Rita energy come back in Robo Rita.
Yeah.
So there is always that possibility. But my opinion is I hope it doesn't happen. Not in that sense. Not as you see Zordon in a tube. I hope Zordon's in human form or alien form of some sort,
Yeah.
fighting Lord Zed at the end, because they're supposed to be, if I remember right, Lord Zed and Zordon was a team at one point. Was in the same. They're both
You mean the
Zartarians.
comics?
Yeah,
In the
I
comics?
believe it was in the comics. Yeah, but it was supposed to be both from the same planet and everything. So it'd
Yeah.
be kind of cool to see human Zordon, kind
Mhm.
of like they did in the 2017 Bandai or Bond movie that everybody hated. Now people are loving it, but everybody hated it back then. I actually like the movie, but I have an interesting, funny, haha theory about that. Alone when I kind of broke down the movie into pieces. And I'm gonna make a video on this, but I'm just gonna say now it's the Breakfast Club. Remember the Breakfast Club from the 80s? It's the same story, just with action, you know. But
Yeah.
anyways, yeah. But Causing Fury, I really do hope they bring Zordon back, but not as in the tube. I hope they bring him back in some kind of movement where you can actually move around, be powerful, know who the Power Rangers are. I mean, they're keeping Billy in the show, so that's pretty cool. I don't want to see every Power Ranger come into the show though, because it's not a
There's not
reunion.
enough time. Let's be realistic.
It's not enough time, and it's not a reunion show. It's the finality. It's the last show. I mean, if they want to bring in different Megazords, or something, okay, cool. They can do Megazords, but
Yeah.
I don't want to see the Red Ranger. I don't want to see, Aquatar Rangers in this show because Aquatar needs water to survive. But I know a lot of
Well,
people are
there's
hoping
Billy,
for
so
all these.
there's kind of a reason for that.
Yes.
There's an
Uh,
excuse. Like I like when I create, not to jump into it,
oh, no.
when I write or when I come up with characters and okay, this good guy's gonna do this or this bad guy's gonna do that. What's the reason? You can't just do it because you effing feel like it. You know what I mean? This isn't Super Mega Force where like they're editing on the toilet or something and oh man, we gotta send the episodes out. It doesn't matter. Cut it. No, this they're actually taking some time, which I appreciate them for. I do
Yes.
because like I said, I like to try to be not pretty unbiased, but at the same time, I see the train of thought. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
know an adult audience is watching it. This is going for Netflix. You don't really have a lot of toys. This is the end of the road. Now we have the writer strike thing coming out, and that's gonna be a whole different can of worms right there. I mean, what do
Oh
you do?
yeah.
You can't film. You can't film. But yeah, going into what you were saying about Zordon, and we'd have to do some research on it as well. But it's an interesting character because from what I've seen, and I've even talked to some of the people, at Power Rangers and stuff at conventions, and the guy's trapped in a wormhole, right? He's an alien
Right.
trapped in a time warp that Rita sent him to. Fine. So it doesn't matter if you break that tube. You could break that tube a million times. That tube is a mirror. It's a mirror to his face. It's not a mirror to his whole body either. It's not. It's not like Mr. Freeze and Mrs. Freeze thing where she's just like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
She's
Yeah.
physically in there. Zordon is not in that freaking tube. Yeah. I know what they did at the end of In Space of slashing the tube and then Zordon's energy, and even that I can understand. That's really cool because okay, a character put his energy, his essence in there, but that doesn't mean he's actually in there. Nobody actually sliced Zordon. Nobody actually killed Zordon.
No.
I'm sorry, but it just didn't happen. If the guy's stuck in a time warp and you broke the mirror so you could see the guy, you don't have communication to him, but that doesn't mean he's dead. You know what I mean? That's like me and you arguing. I hang up the phone. That doesn't mean you're dead.
Right,
how would
yeah.
you, Bob? He's dead now. No, that's not how it works, bro. All they did was hang up the phone or break the phone at best case.
Exactly. No,
So
I mean,
yeah, I think they could pull that. I think they did a good job with Rita because yeah, Rita was destroyed by Zordon's energy wave and whatever her essence of evil can be in the air, but that's fine. You had a shot of the wave hitting the character, so that story wise makes sense.
It did. It
You
really did.
physically saw it. You saw her turn into a human. The finale of her brother and her dad and all of these we can get into later, but we saw
Yeah.
the actual action happen. We never saw Zordon fight once. I mean,
No.
we didn't see him die. And I know as a series writer or even as a fan, forget series writer, as a fan, you want to think Zordon died for our sins or he died for the sins of the universe and whatever. The beautiful, but it really didn't happen. It's like
No.
we just broke a mirror. We literally broke a mirror. The guy's stuck in a time where we don't know what dimension he's at.
He's
A perfect example of bringing in Zordon. You could have brought him into RPM. RPM is a different dimension. It's a different universe. It's a different thing. It's correlating with us, but it doesn't really exist in our timeline. There you go. You know what?
There you go. Yeah. I mean,
He
it's just
didn't die, bro. He just hung up the phone. You know?
it's just it's energy. Energy is around us all the time. And that's the thing. I mean, you build up enough energy, and you rub your feet against the ground, on carpet, and you touch somebody, pop. That's energy.
Yeah, it's the suspension of disbelief thing. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Even as a kid, I was like 6 or 7. I was like, I saw the Andros hit that thing, and I was like, he's not in there. Who cares?
Right?
It's like knocking on your neighbor's door. He's not there. Does that mean the neighbor's dead? No, he's just not home.
He's just not home. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, Zordon would be a cool little character to see come out of nowhere to fight Lord Zed. Have Power Rangers there to back him, but have him, great, powerful Zordon that created powers out of the grid for these Rangers come fight. Or maybe even take over. I mean, okay, so this would make sense to me. Take over one of the original MMRP characters for Zordon to use, like Jason, the Red Ranger, or even let's be controversial here and let him be the Green Ranger. Even nobody's gonna like that, but that's one of the biggest, powerful Rangers of all time, supposedly according to my understanding. Is the Green Ranger had the biggest power of all time? Unless you're talking about Zeo, because Zeo's power is supposed to keep growing and growing and growing over time, get more powerful, more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why no one understood why Turbo came along, because Turbo's powers is a whole new set of powers when Zeo's powers just kept growing. Supposedly, that was the concept of them.
Unless they get wet.
They
touch water, that's it.
They're done. But yeah, Cosmic Fury has a lot that can do, in my opinion. But time restraints. Time restraints is a big thing.
Their hands are tied in a lot of ways. Not just for the things we've said, but also remember they found out that they were getting a third season fairly late into the production run. The actors have said to themselves, "Hey, I was going to sign on for this show," and then they told me, "Hey, we got 10 more episodes." Like, what? Like, oh, we have to reshoot the finale. That's the finale we saw. Cannot. There's no way that was the end. Hey, look, I'm back from the dead. I'm Zato, and now we have to go into space. Now, that's like they do in movies. Like, oh, we're begging for a third movie or we're begging for a sequel type thing.
Yeah.
They also have to actually figure out a way to try to wrap up 30 years of content, 30 years of storylines, and they're not gonna. There's no way. There's just no time. There's no time. You don't have all the actors.
No.
You know what I mean? Yeah. There's actors that couldn't get out for COVID. I mean, I know COVID's over, but people are still kind of touch and go with that. So.
And then you got the Trini's daughter. I can't remember the actress's name.
Yeah.
The one that became the Yellow Ranger.
Charlie.
She could literally be in the Cosmic Fury because she's
if you want to build a world around her and her character and her thing, but you're not doing that in these 10 episodes where there's no time. There's no time.
But they could have said, okay, we're gonna do this one little scene and have her in there, and everybody would be like, oh, look, she did something else.
Yeah.
But I think this is really based around Lord Zed, honestly, more than anything else. I think this is based around Billy and
that's
Lord
where they're pulling the thread of. That's why they didn't destroy him in the last one.
Yeah, I think it's Billy against Lord Zed, but then they're gonna have the rest of the Rangers because, well, as we know, Billy is like the main Ranger in this.
Yeah.
from the past. So I just believe it's just
He's the mentor, so
yeah, but he's still fighting alongside of him, and I think that's kind of interesting.
yeah. I
You know?
think one of as far as like Cosmic Fury, there's that, but it's also the problem of Endgame because we're not gonna have a show next year.
No,
But if
I,
you were gonna end Power Rangers after 30 years, you should at least have your 22 episodes.
oh definitely
You're
yes.
not getting it in 10.
No, there's no
There's no
way, no
story.
way.
You can't tell a story. I know the producer has talked and the Simon Bennett's talked about, hey, there's no filler. There's no filler. I don't want 22 minutes of Zord fights either. You know what I mean? You have to put some jokes or, oh, look, here's, the this girl, the Amelia or something. Oh,
Yeah.
no. Just get into the Zord. Slash the next monster. Slash the next monster. You have to tell some story there. You can't,
Right?
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I understand no filler, but you still have to put some filler. As far as writing goes, okay, let's say I'm writing the hero show or something, right? I can't just have this guy like destroy the Horde axe for 22 minutes. Like, really? This isn't Dragon Balls where I can stretch out for like 2 years. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Don't take it as a hot take. So those of you watching, but come on.
Well, it's just like the Ninja Turtles fighting Shredder for 22 minutes and winning. They'd be like, they're not going to win against the Shredder. Shredder's this big martial artist that's studied under years and years. And you think one little turtle's going to take out Shredder?
Yeah.
No. But again, I don't want to see an episode of just the Megazord fighting some bad guy. To me, that's nothing. I want a little story plot in each one, saying why we're going from here to here. I mean, even as a kid watching the MMR, even watching MMRP, the story, like I watched it today with my kids, and my older son goes, "What is this crap?" Because today's kids are nothing like we were. Today's kids are all about technology.
They've seen everything. There's nothing. Oh man, look at this.
But when I put on Super Sentai Drew Rangers for him, he fell in love with it because there was an actual storyline to the whole thing. And it was one big story, like you're saying. There's a story, beginning, middle, and end. But
because it's written out that way. That's the template.
That was
from
the
episode 1. You're driving to the end. Whatever the problem is, we have to get the keys. We have to unlock the demons. We have to stop the demons. Your objective from day one. So you know what it was when you sign up. You know what I mean? You know where we're going. So.
Exactly. And like when Saban had Power Rangers, there was no template. It was, we're going to take this footage. We're going to add these teenagers to this footage and
try not to get canceled.
And try not to get canceled. And it happened for a long time until I think people say Dino Theory was the first one that actually sounded like they actually had a story plot. And I have to go back and watch Dino Theory because I'm kind of curious about it now. There's been some
good stories. I think that they did good work with Zeo as far as a continuation because it is the follow-up. So it had to live up to a lot. I think they did a really good job in bringing in Jason as the Gold Ranger. All of the stuff that they did in Zeo was a really good evolution of what they did. I think they kind of dropped the ball with Turbo because I think a lot of the studio was getting into them too. Like, hey, your ratings for Zeo weren't as strong, so okay, let's bring in a kid to be the Blue Ranger, or let's do this. And it isn't on the actor, it isn't on anything, but sometimes too much studio involvement can kind of hinder where you're going.
Oh, definitely.
Ratings aren't there. Yeah, like we don't live in the ratings age anymore. And I know that sounds insane to say, but really, we live in the age of streaming. This isn't if this show doesn't get a 2.0, we're gonna cancel it. No, you cancel it because you can't for different reasons. You cancel a show today for budgets. Your budget is way. It doesn't matter how good the ratings are. You could have like one of the shows that I loved. This was like 3 years ago. I don't know if you saw the Swamp Thing. That it was on DC Direct, and then they finished out the last episodes on HBO Max.
No, I didn't watch.
It was a very short run, but the show was fun. But the show was like super, super out of budget, and they were like, for the ratings you're making, this show is not worth it. So you cancel it there. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's different issues. To kind of close out on my thoughts, for Cosmic Fury, because I know it's starting to run here. The last thing I'll say on it is I think they have a lot to live up to. I think Billy's probably going to take the mantle of the leader of the show with Amelia as the Red Ranger, and which is a smart move to do. And I think as far as the end of the Power Rangers, obviously, because nothing can last forever, which is fine too. But I think a proper finale to the show, if we're looking at canon and the storylines, would be the Morphin Masters figure out a way to find the dimension where Zordon is, and then bring peace to the entire universe, not
totally
just
agree.
a specific spot. Yeah, but that's my closing thoughts on it.
You know, I totally agree with that too, actually, because it's the only way we're gonna
Find where the
have.
hell Zordon is.
We gotta have a total, circle back around to, square one, basically. Especially if they're gonna do something fantastic at the end of this. Do something for Hasbro to go. Oh, we can do this time around and make it this way. They got to do something because sooner or later we're gonna be 20 years older and we're gonna have Power Ranger toys again for our little kids. I remember
Yeah,
when Turtles came out, and now my kids have Turtle toys again. It's like, wow, we're going full circle.
there you go.
So yeah, I mean, Power Rangers is never gonna die. I'm sorry, but they're not gonna die. There's too much love for them, and like for me personally, I show Power Rangers to my kids. I don't know, a lot of parents do. I've seen cons on YouTube showing like little kids dressed as Power Rangers, and it's like, do they even know
Oh,
what it
people love it.
is? You know?
It's cross generational now. So.
Yeah. Again, cross generation there, cross generation here. Stuff like He-Man. Most kids don't know what He-Man is. They
No, but
don't.
the adult
But
toy
the
collector
adults
is,
do
is
again.
buying so much of it that it's keeping it alive.
Yeah, and same thing with Transformers came back. So you got like three of the biggest merchandise: Transformers, Ninja Turtles, and Power Rangers. Will never die because somebody's gonna go. Let's make this robot do this. Wait, didn't we used to have those? Yeah, they were called Transformers. Oh yeah, let's make a TV show about it again. Stuff like that's never gonna die out. Just it's gonna go away for a little bit, but will never die.
Yeah. To end, you want to hit your social medias where people can follow you, they can check you out and stuff.
Yeah, so as you see on the screen, I am actually DTV83 from YouTube. I also have a DTV83 on Facebook, and those are the two you can actually find me on. You can actually contact me on either one. Leave a comment in the description, or leave a comment on these videos that I make, or go to my Facebook page and shoot me a message if you have any ideas for anything, or you want me to talk about something, review something. Let me know. I'm up for suggestions. Oh, even have a video game. I do live stream video games on my channel too, so and it's all retro. I mean, I am just a retro type of person on my YouTube channel. So, anyways, what about you? Do you have places that people can come see you, talk to you?
Yeah, so I'm a I'm a series creator, so you can check out my storytelling and my my superheroes and stuff on Mascara Fighters. I'm a 3-time animated series creator, but the flagship, my Coca-Cola, if you will, is Mascara Fighters. So at Mascara Fighters, spelled Mascara Fighters, but it's Mascara Fighters. Is you can see the toys and stuff, and you can check out the animated shorts. And yeah, mascarafighters.com at Mascara Fighters.
No,
Across all social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, if you will, today, and the main site itself.
Now I know you have some of this stuff in stores because I've seen your Facebook page. What stores does this stuff sell in? By the way, like the DVDs and stuff.
Okay, so I recently did a release for because here in Miami we have some video stores, so I connected with them and I've done the premiere for episode 1, if you will, the first animated short of Mascara Fighters, and I've also done one for Kelly Collider. I've also done a third one, which is for the other brand, which is Diamond Series. I've done a DVD for that, but I haven't released that one yet. But if you want to order one of those DVDs or something like that, just at Mascara Fighters, you shoot me a message there, and we'll go from there. And
Awesome.
yeah, because it's the number one. So I mean, hate it, love it. I'm up to 170 on Mascara Fighters as far as animated shorts go, and I release them in blocks of 10. So the volume 1 is technically season 1, but one of the last things to kind of wrap up is I do it anthology style. So if you like one animated short, that's great. But if you don't like the next one, you can just move on to the one afterwards. It's not tied to one specific storyline. Yes,
Okay.
everything is built off the storyline and the copyright that I made and the toys and all of that. But I like to keep it loose as far as that because I'm still, in a lot of ways, an independent artist. And if you like one and you didn't like the other one, like I said, move on to the next short or check out the other brands. And it's also in Spanish and in English, by the way. So if
Oh,
you guys want
nice.
to share it, that's all I literally ask. If somebody wants to be nice and share one of my videos or stuff like that, I appreciate it.
Okay, so
Yeah,
one last
go ahead.
question about one last question about your brand. Since I do content on this channel mostly about toys and how they act, how they are, whether for the price range and all that. Uh, do you think you're ever going to be making action figures that are actually highly articulated like this at all down the
Actually,
road?
I'm. If you follow the brand, today I dropped the video for. Hold on, let me just see. You're gonna get a first look, if
Okay.
you will. I was literally about to start working on this stuff, but okay. So, see if you can see it there.
Okay, yeah, I see it. I see it.
That's the sketch version of the logo for the Grande figures, and the Grande figures of Mascara Fighters. They are articulated. They are plastic based because these are 3D modeled and 3D printed. Everything is 3D modeled.
Oh
Really,
yeah,
it
yeah.
just depends of how the output is. But this is the main line. I'm going to be doing a collector line, which is called the Grande line, and that is currently waiting for test shots. But those figures are articulated. They move. They are 6 inch. They are the adult collector, if you will, adult collector line, and I'm really excited for. I'm also working on wave 2 and 3 for the Grande line itself, which is going to introduce the. This is also, I guess, the first because I haven't talked about this even on my channel or stuff, but yeah, I'm gonna have characters to fight the Mascara fighters. There's no way I just make Mascara fighters.
All
So
right, all right.
yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Well, you heard it
Uh,
here first.
yeah, they're not gonna just fight themselves. Oh, and another cool thing, besides the articulation, besides the head movement and stuff, they will be coming with weapons.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So they're
So a
they're
little bit
coming
of
with weapons.
accessories there.
Yeah, I'm waiting
Yeah.
for. I literally just sent the Western Union today for the next test samples. So
Okay.
that's where we are.
That's very cool. Can't wait to see them actually. As an adult collector of toys and reviewer on my channel, it'd be kind of fun to do a review if you ever, want someone to do a review.
Sure.
I'd have no problem. You don't have to send them to
Appreciate
me. I'll buy them from you. Actually, I would just buy them straight
appreciate
out.
that. But we're at the. You know what? It'd be fun to do another one of these and kind of show off the test model.
Oh,
I should be
definitely.
having the test samples in the next 2-3 days.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. I mean, that'd be awesome.
so hey, look, this is what they actually look like. This is how they move. This is whatever. So
Yeah. I mean, that's I think
give
this
the
is
audience a little taste of what I'm doing.
yeah, exactly. I mean, because what you do is something that most people don't get to do. Most people just like
Yeah.
us personally go out and buy the toys, put them on a display stand, and call it a day. But you get to actually use your creativity in this situation and make your own, and I think that's awesome. That's not the best way to say awesome. I don't have that technology. I don't have the skill level of drawing out a character and all that in a 3D printed program or nothing.
Yeah.
I don't have those skills. I can cook, I can play music. I have
I
other
do
things I
music
can
as well. I did
do.
the theme
You
song
know,
for the
there
shows.
you go. I mean,
Yeah.
so
A songwriter
yeah,
as well, bro. When you do one, you do multiples. Like you say, like you do music, so you also do audio engineering. So you get
yeah,
into one, you get
exactly.
into the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks
So
everybody for joining us. This has been really fun, and we'll see you next time.
yeah, see you next time. Thanks again.
Bye.
Peace.